Hey everyone, this is Mock the Awesome Blue Boy 2K8 here. This time, this video will be about the dark side of the Loud House fandom. Oh my god, I know that people are obsessed with this show. And I know they're obsessed with little things and defend them like it's a gift from God or Jesus Christ. To be honest, every cartoon and animation shows and movies can have toxic communities and fans. Like My Little Pony, the Brony community and fandom. The fandom of Disney's Zootopia and etc. About the Loud House fandom, I was like, oh my fucking god. Why does my favorite show on Nickelodeon next to Rugrats, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Fairly Odd Parents, My Life as a Teenage Robot, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and The Casagrandes, has a toxic fandom and toxic fans? That is not quite as the fandom of My Little Pony. Although these shows don't mix, like come on, The Loud House is like a masterpiece of the modern Nickelodeon. The animation looks clean and fresh. Give credit to the creators, Chris Savino, and Michael Rubiner. However, there's one who caused this mess. The fandom is not worth it. And it's just dangerous and intoxicated. Now before you all go like, Mock, I thought you liked The Loud House. Well, I do. I do like The Loud House. It's once again my favorite show on Nickelodeon next to Rugrats, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Fairly Odd Parents, My Life as a Teenage Robot, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and The Casagrandes. I am not turning back on the show as a whole. I just hate its toxic fandom of the show. And I'll tell you why I decided to quit this dangerous fandom of the show.
Of course you realize this means war.
First, I'll talk about how the fanboys and fangirls treated like shit, which is, the Loud Sisters. Yes, the Loud Sisters are the characters the fanboys, fangirls take their total anger out on almost all of them, but not really Lily Loud. She is the cutest baby of the series, in which I agree. I cannot imagine why some of the show's fans take their vent out on almost all the sisters for nothing. Lola is infamous as Angelica from Rugrats in the community because of her bratty and mean-spirited attitude towards Lincoln whenever he does something stupid, or makes a simple mistake unintentionally, especially when Lincoln is trying to help her and her other sisters, or when there are times where Lincoln is blamed unfairly for a plan that just went wrong, and isn't 100% at fault for the thing somebody did wrong by mistake or I don't know what it is. But I can agree with some of these, but Lola is not an all-the-time unlikable character. Yes, she can be a bratty 6-year-old little girl who has a frightening side to others or her own 11-year-old brother, but there were times where she does have a right reason to make Lincoln realize his mistake or when she has a good side. In one episode, Lola thanks Lincoln and Clyde for helping her get her glorious picture in the yearbook she wanted on. That example did show a good side of Lola where she isn't so mean and spoiled. You at Broken Bar, I can take that back. I will leave Lola alone right now. Let's all get to the next sister, in which is Lynn Loud Jr. She was disliked and rejected by the fandom, or should I say the community, because of how she treated Lincoln in the episode No Such Luck, which received negative reviews because of Lynn Loud taking a step way too far, and even blaming Lincoln and pinning him bad luck because he goes out to people's events. I agree that is a very stupid and unfair reason, and in all honesty, nobody likes seeing somebody get blamed unfairly, even when you're not at fault for going to an event because of one bad thing happened. You can't be considered bad luck because of one thing you did no wrong. That's not how being labeled with bad luck works. In the episode Sorry, Wrong Ed from Ed, and Eddie, Eddie is labeled bad luck because he is cursed with a telephone that can torture him no matter when it rings or not. I think that episode is better than No Such Luck in my opinion, but yeah, I have an episode I like others don't like, so what? You can disagree with me, but at least it is just an opinion. There are worse episodes out there like Brawl in the Family and making the case of all bad episodes of good shows. Enough said. People say Lynn Loud is a bad character because she is a selfishly unfair sister that cares about herself and winning on everything. Like, yeah, Lincoln Loud is deserving to be labeled bad luck. So what? Screw my brother. I only care about winning. Do you mean a character that acts as selfish and is a malicious jerk like Jeffy, SML, Bowser Jr., SML, Angelica, Rugrats, and Jerry, Rick and Morty? Well, she was out of character, and I would agree with that, too, but let's be fair guys, she isn't always a selfish sister. It isn't like Lynn would go to the point of brutally assaulting someone with a boat or a baseball bat or anything like that. But people in that fandom say Lynn Loud is a bad character because she abuses and inflicts the pain, suffering, hurting, and cruelty on her siblings because it is fun, like how adult party cartoon Ren thought it was fun torturing and inflicting the pain and suffering of other animals from his childhood. Does not give any concern to anybody who she inflicts the pain and harm on. Does not say or prove she is sorry for what she does wrong. Well, I will show you examples where she does apologize and learns her lesson in the end, and no such luck, because with that episode, we see she realized Lincoln was not bad luck at all when he helped his sister's favorite baseball team win. And later said she was sorry for labeling him bad luck on purpose, in spite of how inexcusable that act is, and how she never got properly punished for it. In the episode Winner Takes All, Lynn learned that rubbing her victory on every game she wins seemed way too unfair to all the siblings, so she decided to stop being a bad winner and started to be a good sport. It was very nice that Lynn made things up to her siblings, and so, it is best to say that we all play games to have fun, not just to win. And why? Because acting like winning is everything makes other people think you are being unfair, or just being a complete jerk. So after that episode, she learned her lesson and never did it again after said episode. Now, enough with that. There is one episode where Lynn does have the right reason to be angry at Lincoln for something he did to upset her. Hand-Me-Downer was one of these examples because Lincoln lost Lynn's bike and was not responsible for it in the first place. And of course, that is one of these episodes where Lincoln does do something to piss one of his sisters off. But no such luck wasn't because Lincoln is fallen into Lynn's blame all because he went to a freaking baseball game with the family, even though Lincoln should not have fallen into Lynn's lie and shouldn't have labeled him bad luck in the first place. But you know what? I am missing something. I do admit Lynn Loud is a good character, but she does not deserve any of the poor reception she gets. Not other characters do deserve the hate like Chloe, Fop, or Jeffy, because this video has nothing to do with a spastic twat who wears a stupid bicycle helmet for no reason. Now, I think I can just say a reason why the Lynn hate is just bad. I think the Lynn hate is a tad too harsh because most fans are taking her way too seriously that it comes off going into the extreme, especially when there is an episode focused on her, or an upcoming episode that can be focused on her. Now I would state that the fandom would just complain over an episode focusing on Lynn that hasn't come out yet, but because whenever I see it, I would say just give Lynn a change. Alright, let's just accept the fact that there are worse characters than Lynn Loud guys. Now moving on, I am going to be focusing on why some of the show's fans criticize the Loud sisters all because they make Lincoln's life a living hell all the time. Well, okay, the sisters can tend to give Lincoln a hard time in episodes like Making the Grade and Heavy Metal, both being examples of episodes where the sisters treat Lincoln at their worst. Heavy Metal was an episode where all of the sisters are complete douchebags because their meddling was badly handled in this episode. They butted into what Lincoln is doing, tried to figure out who the bully is, make Lincoln confess the bully is a girl, and Lincoln gets fooled by getting a black eye and it was actually Ronnie Ann who was the bully towards Lincoln in that episode, despite the fact that she was only mentioned. Thank God they changed her personality since Dance Dance Resolution. Do I need to explain why Brawl in the Family was quite simply terrible? No, and I don't want to. That's another topic for another day. Making the Grade was where I hate mostly everyone in this episode. After Lincoln was considered quote-unquote outcast all because Lisa is intelligent and not average, Lincoln asks Lisa to tone down her smartness and Lisa agrees. And yes, guess what happens? Surprise! Lincoln is obviously fucking chewed out once more later and the whole entire fucking episode for situations going wrong, even when nothing much is clearly all his fault. This is not an episode where Lincoln does something to piss everyone off. This is an episode where Lincoln is badly by not just his friends and Lisa for that matter, but even his family plays the chew toy game because Lisa. Yet, Lisa gets away with Lincoln blamed scot-free without showing any remorse or any sorrow and sympathy for him. Lisa in this whole goddamn episode was like, yeah, it was Lincoln's fault, not mine, so what? Blame him. He made the situations fail miserably, and I would be happy to have him shamed on sadistically rather than have myself to blame. The only characters that apologized later to Lincoln were Lincoln's friends and nobody else. Lisa also should have apologized for putting him through all this earlier, too, but no, she doesn't. What the fuck, Lisa? You could argue that Lincoln's friends were forcing him to sit at the sticky table earlier, but that's no excuse to make me not hate this episode. This episode is an example where I think they are worse episodes of the show than No Such Luck, but with me having something positive to say. The Loud Sisters did say pretty nice things about Lincoln when they did properly help him this time in the episode White Hair. Now this is an example that does show that Lincoln and his sisters do get along, even if they disagree or conflict against each other, considering the fact the Loud family is a mostly dysfunctional family. For that record, I do not have a least favorite Loud sister in my book, because I do not think any one of them, or even all of them, are bad. Even if Lynn Loud is considered the worst character for reasons by fans, the Lynn Loud hate should have died away after a fanfic called Take Me Back. Now, episodes like Out on a Limo for an example is an episode where Lincoln does piss off all of his sisters. It isn't the sisters who blamed him unfairly this time. This is an episode where they did have the right reason to be angry at him because Lincoln promised that they would take them all to Burpin Burger, but he lied to them because he made them wait for 3 hours selfishly, in which Lincoln was being more selfish and malicious to them. And later on in the same episode he gets his comeuppance and regrets his mistakes for lying, being selfish, and making them wait for all hours on purpose. The Loud sisters do pick on Lincoln when it comes to a situation they conflict on, and Lincoln picks on them back. It sometimes does not feel like a one-sided situation unless if there is something I am missing. But enough said, let's get to the next topic. Next up, I will talk how Clyde McBride, Lincoln's best friend, was antagonized by the fandom. Poor Clyde. Well, you know, this bugs me when the community won't give Clyde a chance, or just get the impression that he is a creepy stalker all because of the occasional running gag where she has a crush on Lori without realizing Lori and Bobby are a love couple already. Clyde is not a creepy stalker, he is just a kid who sometimes has a couple naive mishaps. Plus, what other thing bugs me about this hatedom on Clyde is that their reasoning for disliking him is two things. 1. He is similar to Lincoln Loud. 2. The Clinkle and Clyde trope. All I can say is, these arguments and reasons are completely terrible. For the first reason, it's a really dumb and idiotic reason for a character to be criticized all because someone is similar. And secondly, it was intended to be a trope for the main show. There were episodes focusing on Lincoln and Clyde that did not mention their friendship name, but in season 1, it had nothing to do with it because it was not mentioned until a season later. I can't stand this Clyde hate because it's idiotically stupid. There's just terrible arguments. And another thing that might be false information about Clyde's rivalry on Bobby, Clyde does not actually hate Bobby, he sometimes gets caught up in the moment and goes a little overboard. Despite Clyde's obsessive crush on Lori, he remained to be a kind and helpful friend because Lincoln deserved to have a best friend who is on his side whenever he needed him. In fact, he and Lincoln have similarities with Gerald and Arnold because both are best friends with each other, and they have different skin colors. Lincoln is Caucasian, and Clyde is African American. And hey, that rhymes. Now I am moving on to the next topic before I either get some rabid Loud House fanboys and fangirls coming up to me and go raging at me in their keyboards. Now to talk about how the infamously hated episodes that the fandom has treats them it's worse than September 11 th. No Such Luck received a huge overboard load of negative reviews because of all the reasons why how much this episode was hated, and I can see why. I already covered No Such Luck, so I am not covering it again. Brawl in the Family was not any better. It was panned because of the so-called sister protocol, the usage on the dated sexist tropes, obsessively mean-spirited humor, way too much fighting and out-of-character moments, the other sisters not listening to Lincoln, or once giving him a chance, whenever he is trying to help and not make matters worse didn't even help. The parents were being cowards is also an out-of-character moment. Lincoln is put at fault for trying to help purposely. The sisters acted like the ones they are starting the problems and not Lincoln. Yeah, it is hypocrisy, bad morals, and Lisa being a smart aleck with her chart. I think Lana is right on what Lisa was for that episode because Lincoln is not at fault for trying to help, but I think it was all the sisters who are at fault because they were being neglectful in the first place the entire episode, and they pinned the blame on Lincoln for making things worse when it all 10 of them who made everything worse themselves. Hypocritical much? Well yeah, I do admit the storyline is terrible myself and I have no blame on anybody that hates these 2 episodes. But why treat these episodes like they are the September 11, 2001 attacks? I am not saying I like them. I am asking why are they episodes deserving to be remembered like 9/11? Both of these episodes are really bad, I agree. But you know what? Comparing these 2 episodes to the September 11th attacks is just appalling and despicable. Face it, you can still do reviews on these episodes and dislike them. You all have the right reasons to hate this episode. But comparing them to the 9/11 attacks? No, I cannot get why some people treat 2 bad episodes like they caused the September 11, 2001 attacks in America when these episodes aren't the responsibility for the tragic events. The 9/11 attacks are the worst things to happen in American history. I understand that, but comparing something to 9/11 of all things is just disrespectful. The Loud House was released in 2016. Guys, would you believe that show came from a madman from the Middle East as anti-USA propaganda? What the hell kind of fans are you? Alright, enough with the political discussions, on to the next topic. Now to talk about the most glitch, cliché, cringe, and disgusting trend that the fandom has done, and that is, the Loudsists. This is one of the main reasons why the show's fan community was completely hated for the right reasons like behind the meme, because there's content that is clearly bad for the children's minds across the world. I am not joking, Loudsist is the reason of it, and it started everything on how bad the Loud House fan community always was after Loudsist came to mind. And listen to me in 5 words, do not look Haiti up. I am not freaking joking, I don't want anybody, even children, looking this stuff up because it can either ruin their mind and fuck all of them up for life, make them become perverted and mental, or worse. Loudsist is not to be looked at, or to ever be liked, ever. One user on the Loud House wiki criticized it for a few pictures he spotted, for example, a picture of a naked Linka doing something really inappropriate with her finger.
What the what?
News flash, kids are supposed to learn about sex in either middle school, high school, or the 5th grade. If you enjoy seeing your brothers get sexual things on with their own sisters, you have mental problems. Just seek some fucking help, you sick, mental bastards. The reason why Loudsist is bad because it features Lincoln getting things on with his sisters, including one of whom is a baby, and that is Lily Loud. I don't know who started this trend, but I think someone who started it should be the one to blame, and get arrested for something this illegal. Yes, incest is illegal. It should be illegal everywhere. It is not okay for young boys to have sex with their own sisters. No, people doing underage sex is really messed up, but this is incest I'm talking about. In real life, incest is illegal, especially in the United States, and you can get arrested for a crime like this. That's life, people. Incest would have people go in for their jail time by the police. What about Lincoln being shipped with other female characters into sexual intercourse that are not his sisters? Even if they are the same age as him or not, that's still worse. You know what? Loudsist is only a Rule 34 fan art concept that should just burn in the depths of hell. And yes, I am grateful this is not canon to the official series we know and love, and it never will be. Worst of all, they are also porn comics out of the series, such as one comic where Lincoln furiously and violently rapes Luan after her sick pranks get the best of her and the whole family. This goes against Lincoln's character, as he would never go this far to rape someone just for a prank that he fell for. These kinds of comics for what they are really do rub me the wrong way. I can't even respect the Loudcist group as a pack of friends because a broken bar Loudcist is for people who are perverted pedophiles that think shit like this is okay. How? The people supporting incest art on the Loud House are incest supporters. They're crazy. That's what their problem is. I cannot stand what this trend is doing. Encouraging people into child porn and incest is okay? No. This is not okay. It's horrible. Kids can't have sexual intercourse until they become young adults at age 18 and get married. Are these people out of their fucking minds? I don't know. But screw this crappy trend anyway. And fuck these people, too. It really needs to be stopped. And please please please, people in the fandom, just let children have a good childhood. Okay? Brainwashing their minds to something this disgusting and sickening is terrible. If any kid that never saw the show, but has seen child porn and incest images on the show like this, they would never live it down. They would never think of giving the Loud House a chance. And they would never come to understand what made the show good unless if they're a sadist maybe. Oh, and Loudcist shippers, please, think about the consequences of what you are drawing into paper, before you think of even going ahead. You pedophilic, perverted, assholic shitheads.
And how does that make you feel?
Now, let's move on to Safe House Community. On Google+, around a few days ago asking how can the show's fandom get any worse, here is your question, Splatcrosser. It can get a lot, much worse than never before. Earlier, I heard that the Safe House Community's leader accused an artist and got him arrested by the police of pedophilia when he is actually innocent, and it was all because they were angry at his fan art. First of all, why are you angry at his fan art? And second, why are you accusing the artist of pedophilia without evidence? The most upsetting and saddening part is that he and his wife lost their belongings, including their children. He even tried to kill himself twice according to Matthew, a fan of the Loud House who got so mad at the group for being banned without a reason. Now what made me start losing optimistic hopes on the fandom the most is that they applauded and laughed at the artist's suffering, proving they enjoy seeing people suffer. Hey Safe House group, are all of you happy with yourselves? If you think you have the joy of seeing other people, or your friends, suffer, someone feeling miserable, someone getting upset, or somebody having hurt feelings, then I can claim all of you as people who enjoy seeing somebody suffer as mean-spirited pricks, unsympathetic bitches who show no care whatsoever, and are people who have no heart or soul whatsoever. They showed no guilt or regret by now feeling apologetic for what they done. They got off with a lie scot-free, so I think the leader should be arrested for framing the artist without evidence, and the artist can get everything back. But sadly, it's too late now because the damage has been done, and now that really hits me hard, right in the fucking core. Nobody likes seeing people or a friend suffer because it's not funny, it's not worth being unsympathetic for. And it can show you would either be claimed either a real hypocrite, or a mean-spirited brute that has showed no care about anyone or any respect for other people who suffered their lives to be a living hell. That is just disgraceful. The Safe House group is from this fandom, and they themselves should deserve to be a group of outcasts who should be ashamed for their shitty acts because they are hypocrites, liars, scammers, and horrible human beings that deserve backlash after what they did. I don't fucking know anymore. I have now lost a lot of optimistic hope for the Loud House fandom. Okay, there are some people in the fandom who admitted they said this fandom went downhill might have hated this fandom no matter what. Especially if you're a fan, and guess what? I don't think I even like this fandom anyway, because I would be a regular fan loving what I like rather than a fan who is always being sucked into their overdramatic excuses and hypocritical actions. Now, I tried to respect the fandom and be nice, but after my mixed opinions on this fandom, they are now changed into a hate expression. I could not take it anymore. They were worse, and they caused every problem they do, and most importantly, their leader should have been arrested. Next topic of the fandom is fanfictions. Do not get me wrong. I made a Loud House fanfic in which I thought was good back in 2018. But I realized it was written as complete shit because he broken bar.
What am I doing?!
That's what Bugs Bunny said. Speaking about fanfictions, it's a copy and paste Fairy Friends Neighbors from the Fairly Odd Parents, except the plot is just copied and pasted with a few differences, but very little effort was made into the final product. There are some good fanfics out there. Hearts of Gold was one of them as an example, and I think it was a very nice fanfic because this one showed how smart and kind Leany was in this fanfic instead of being the occasional airhead like in the original series, and it was nice to see Lincoln bond with Leany for how heartwarming it felt. Now, here are some fanfics that area broken bar bad. I mean either just plain bad, or it can be outright awful. There was a fanfic called A Pimp's Greatest Mistake, but it was removed from fanfiction.net due to negative reviews and terrible reception, and I do not know how it went. If I read it, then I do not know if it could be considered the most funniest, or to be considered the worst. Because it was removed, I never got to read it for myself. I consider Requiem for a Loud to be one of the worst fanfics as an example. It's way too melodramatic and it suffers from a poor execution, and I feel it's very little to even care about. I don't mind the concept of death as much, but I can't get into it maybe because of the certain tones that made the story way too melodramatic and depressing. But then again, at the fanfics based on the series' best side, they would have the same charm and the same amount of class the show had for the past 2 years, but at the fanfics based on the series' worst, these can all lead out to what really misses the point of the Loud House. The point of the Loud House is about one kid with white hair named Lincoln Loud, a wingman for a best friend, and 10 sisters with different personalities. That is the point of the show, not things that are not even fit for the show at all. That includes content such as Leany and Luna kissing Lincoln in the cheeks, that I have seen too many times. Lincoln getting things on with his sisters, incest, and his crushes, underage sex, and all those things that only dim-witted retards would really like to see. God, if you want to really know everything about what the Loud House is, look up some facts about the show, understand the source material of the show, the characters, and the references from other shows the Loud House has done over the months. Is that hard for all of you people? They are fanfics like Lincoln running away from home after being ripped on unfairly one time. Too many. No Such Luck fan sequels. Lincoln is adopted. Now debunked. Thank God. Fanfics that feel non-existent to the show, and all that shit. La. Nobody else would care about these tropes. Yet, I do understand that a child being mistreated by her family or family member is the cause of them to run away from home and never return again. But maybe I don't know. I could be missing some things on these fanfics, no matter how bad or good they are. Now, I'll talk about the Loud House fanboys and fangirls bash and take anger of how the Loud House lost the Kids' Choice Awards to SpongeBob SquarePants. Don't get me wrong. SpongeBob SquarePants is also my favorite show on Nickelodeon. I knew I had this coming when the fans bash and take their anger out on SpongeBob for winning the 2017 Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards and not the Loud House, either without watching a single episode of the show or knowing the source material, or they just think otherwise. Why not accept the fact that winning is not everything? You can't seriously get a show to always win on everything all the time. I don't want to hear this winning is everything excuse shoved down my throat. Why blame the mascot of Nickelodeon for winning the Kids' Choice Awards and not the Loud House? It's nobody's fault, you know. Not only SpongeBob is blamed by the community, Viacom, which I only blame Viacom for their overprotective copyright and money-driven bullcrap, Nickelodeon Studios, and almost all of SpongeBob's companies are in this treatment, too. How can you take your anger out on a cartoon all because your favorite cartoon did not win? It's like someone throwing a temper tantrum at a gaming party and growing jealous at another person over a person winning more points rather than that other person who gets pissed off over losing most of the time. Believing winning is everything makes these people act like they are immature 6-year-olds who are too stubborn to accept the fact that winning is not everything. Okay, I admit I go through my hard times myself, and I understand winning is not everything myself, even when I was a kid before this show came out. I try not to get jealous or rage, but I somehow get jealous in some kind of way. I think maybe I would have found myself trying too hard to win because that is the problem, or I might have messed up on trying to win unintentionally or by mistake. It happens in video games, for instance, but at least in most video games I keep on going. SpongeBob and the Loud House are good cartoons, and there's nothing wrong with SpongeBob winning the KCA Awards, but it's no excuse to think otherwise. The poorest choice is possible. It is true SpongeBob has won many awards on KCA in the past and present, except for 2008 when Avatar: The Last Airbender won in that said year, because 2008 was before the Loud House was around. But just at least show some respect, it is their show after all. Also, I found out that the Loud House did won the Kids' Choice Awards, but not in the original version. Good thing it won the Kids' Choice Awards in Mexico in 2018, which was before Teen Titans Go to the Movies was released in theaters. I don't blame someone who's happy that SpongeBob winning the Kids' Choice Awards. Man, I hate to say this, but almost every fanboy or fangirl can act like the most brain-dead of the entire community, including toxic fandoms of good media. Why treat the show like they're Jesus, or the second coming of Jesus for that matter? We only have one God, sometimes three. Simpsons reference law. But nobody and nothing in the freaking world is perfect, I'd say. Why is nobody in the planet and not everything in the world perfect? Because not everything or everybody in the world is 100% good or bad. I know you all know this by now, of course, that there are some people that hate the show just because of either a few reasons, or how mean-spirited some episodes are, or don't like the show because of how it didn't turn out well, or I don't know. Maybe they just don't like it. I would say I disagree with them, but in the same time I can't blame them for stating their opinion. But if anybody dislikes the Loud House, I am fine, but as long they don't go out attacking me like the fanboys and fangirls of the show out there do to other people. I thought the Zootopia fandom was bad, but the Loud House fandom has gotten worse. I agree that there are much worse fandoms and people other than the Loud House fandom. But the fanboys and fangirls of the show lose their temper by going butthurt on you and loud shout, demand you to like the show and force you to have the same opinion as you, or just do whatever the hell it is to make you grow irritated with them within seconds. I do love the Loud House as a show myself, as I said earlier, but this fandom a broken bar. This is just horrendously stupid and full of complete idiots. They don't care how they behave, they don't care what is good enough for others, and they think what they do is good enough for them and nothing more. They may disagree with your opinions, alright, but there is no excuse to be rude or be a complete butthurt bully about what it is you like or don't like. I don't hate some parts of media all because of one toxic community, because it's either that I have something I like but can't stand a bad community, or I have some things that I can see why there are others that don't like some of the things others do and yet they go apeshit themselves. To be fair, one franchise I have to admit that I had disliked is MLP because of its stupid community and the Brinies. Now, I realized I have not watched the show and I don't think I need to, because nowadays, I feel that it's more of a girls thing in my opinion rather than something that sucks people and regular fans into their rabid community. Now, I can't stand how people like to constantly attack other people or fans because their opinion is different instead of theirs. Now, let's say there is a hypocritical fan user that proves he respects your opinion when in reality, he acts like a hypocrite. Let's say that if someone says that they would respect the person's opinion, then it turns out it was a lie. That can show how hypocritical a fan from a toxic community can be. Hypocrisy is just bad in many levels. Being proven a hypocrite can be your own fault and you would be blamed for hypocrisy because it could be something you lied about. Okay, being hypocritical is like being a liar, but worse. Maybe I am missing something or I am getting something wrong. Or not. But if you have something you like, you can disagree but you can at least accept the person for their opinion. If not, then go bash on somebody else's opinion of your own size. I don't care because it's not my problem. I love a cartoon or franchise but admitted to say that I hate the rabid portion of the fandom because of their dirty acts. Not everyone likes the same stuff. Either grow up and understand the fact that not everybody has the same opinion as you even if you do disagree, or just act like an asshole anyway. Leave anybody who you picked on alone. Keep your mouth shut, say nothing. then keep your mind to yourself, and then fuck off. I don't want to care if you are going to act so damn sensitive over one opinion. Just respect opinions. How stupid can these people act? You know, I thought this community was just some silly internet fandom for myself, but after hearing what their group, The Safe House, did, things began showing signs of crossing the line, and going to the point where I decided to make this journal just to spitefully snap at the fandom. I am not saying the Loud House as a whole is bad because of one abysmal toxic community. I am saying that I love the Loud House, but I hate the show's fandom. Now, honestly, not all of the people in the Loud House community are as bad as the rabid Zootopia fanboys and fangirls from the Zootopia community and the MLP community because of the Brennies being complete jerks. What else I want to say is I tried to be optimistic and respectful to this fandom, but now, I have lost a lot of respect for the fandom because this community sucks, and it is so ungodly bad, hypocritical, immature, and downright idiotic. Now, like I said from earlier, just because a cartoon, a video game series, fictional character or a franchise has a really terrible fan base, community, that doesn't mean that those things are claimed to be bad themselves. Not like Jeffy from Modern Super Mario Logan, because Jeffy started to become the bad apple because of the things he did to make Mario's life a living hell as well. But if you are a regular fan of the Loud House, I have something to tell you. You can still watch the show to this day, and so can I, but be sure you would not be dragged into their rabid portion of the fandom, because it can lead to your reputation being ruined either by them or yourself. Despite the fact that some people in the fandom are not all bad, I still find Brennies worse because they are like how any toxic fanboy, fangirl would act like and be like. Anyways, the Safe House group to me is why I am snapping not only to them but the show's fandom. Some of the show's fanboys, fangirls act insane all because of one little thing that's not 100% a big deal over the simplest of things. Some fanboys, fangirls can go VGCP or go over an opinion, and all that, the damage may have been done. But I am not going to stop watching the Loud House all because the fandom is awful. I will still watch the Loud House no matter what, even if the show itself had some episodes I can't stand or episodes I can enjoy all the time, even episodes that are considered the best by fans. I can watch anything whatever I like because it is my free will. Thank you very much.
Disgraceful.
Disgusting.
Despicable.
In conclusion, I think the Loud House fandom is just a fandom so ignorant, self-centered, stubborn, and so bad. This community is worse than the growing fandom and the Zootopia fandom combined. What else will be worse? The TF2 fandom? Maybe. I just think that I would rather have better things to do with my life rather than suffer my ass off and get my reputation ruined for some fandom that is a prime example of a toxic fan base. I really do beg for a good fandom that isn't as awful as this disgrace of a cartoon fandom. If you want to drag a real Loud House fan to a very terrible fandom, let them enjoy the show without dragging them into the fandom. And please leave the fuck alone and let them do their own thing. Now, all I can do now is that I am going to calm down and say something important. Just because the Loud House has a toxic fandom doesn't mean you would discourage yourself from enjoying the episode. Lincoln Loud, Lincoln Sisters, Lincoln's Best Friend Club, everything from enjoying the Loud House all because of one terrible fandom. Because what I said from earlier is that I enjoy watching the Loud House in all respect, but I hate the fandom. I blame the fandom itself. It's their fault for the Loud Sisters, the rabid fanboys, fangirls. I am looking at you, Bart Tunes, the SJW, and ISJW, the Safe House crew, and all the bad things that come from an awful fandom, the group of the fans of the show pretending to ruin the show for others. Make those stupid fanfics. And stupid flirts just makes me wanna go to the bathroom and barf in the toilet. Hey, the fandom at least has some good fanfics from other movies, but some of them are bad, etc. Keep shipping it for stupid and dumb reasons. The fandom also keep on lying on the show, losing the People's Choice Awards to SpongeBob SquarePants. And like I said, the Loud House is one that gives